Baker Mayfield is now a Carolina Panther. Let's talk about it, baby. What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Tap. My name is Michael, and this is John repping the Dolphins, baby. Love it.
Absolutely. You have to. Season's getting so close. I'm excited. It's what is it, like 50-something days away now?
Yeah, this is the last month without NFL football until next March.
You know, I'm excited for preseason, but
I'm not
at the same time. It's just one of those things.
But we can still say it's NFL football.
We can. There you go.
Boom.
Oh.
Yes. So a lot closer than we were yesterday. So
every day's a step forward.
Yeah. What? So anyways, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Baker Mayfield getting traded from the Cleveland I almost said the Cleveland Cowboys. What the hell? The Cleveland Browns to the Carolina Panthers for a 2024 conditional 5th round pick. Could be a 4th. Big money over there. Ooh. Also, like we were talking about before the show, the Browns are paying $10.5 million of his base salary. He agreed to trim $3.5 million off of his salary, and the Panthers are paying about $5 million.
Yeah, absolutely. Great deal. Great deal for everyone involved.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about it from this side. Let's talk about it from the Brown side, because that's probably going to be the shortest part. And then we'll talk about Baker Mayfield, what he does for fantasy football, and what he does for real football for the Carolina Panthers. From the Browns side of things, was this a smart move, John?
Yes, because their only other option was to cut him.
True. Yes. And still pay him.
And yes, and I still think that this might mean that the issue, hold up, sorry. I think that this might mean is we may be seeing some answers coming about the Deshaun Watson case, and maybe the Browns know something we don't, and they were a little more comfortable. Or he was just holding tight and just really said, no, I'm not even going to training camp. But there's no way in hell I'm playing for you guys. So they just took the 5th round pick.
Yeah, I think I don't think Deshaun Watson plays this year. I truly don't. I know, and it keeps going back and forth. You keep hearing rumors, or not rumors. The NFL wants an indefinite suspension of at least a year. And then you also hear rumors, it might be 6 to 8 weeks, whatever. Being tied into the NFL like I am, of course.
Yeah, strong connections. Any front offices.
So I do think it's going to be a year. I think the NFL has to suspend him for a year. I think that's where it's going to go. And they're just going to have to ride with Jacoby Brissett. Another interesting point is Jimmy Garoppolo is still out there.
He is.
Jimmy Garoppolo is still out there. I think it might be a good landing spot for him, to ride out this year, prove what he can do, and then get traded. Or actually, I believe he's a free agent next year.
He is, yes.
I believe I'll have to look at his contract up, but or trade him, or he'll show what he can do on the Browns, and sign somewhere else next year. Kind of like a trial run. We've already seen Jimmy G's peak, but I think that could be a good fit. Or they just ride out with Jacoby.
Yeah. After this year, he will be a free agent. And it is very likely that he is not there by the beginning of the season. It would be weird, though, because I think that would mean that the Browns would be paying 6 quarterbacks this year if they were to sign another quarterback. They're paying Deshaun Watson, unless the suspension's indefinite for the season, which means that he would be completely off the contract. But the man still got a check already. He got paid at signing. Yeah. That would be Baker Mayfield still getting that $10 million. You got Jacoby Brissett there. And then you got there's another young guy, Brock Purdy.
Was Case Keenum there?
Case Keenum?
I don't know.
I have to look it up.
Yeah, look that up. But all right. We talked about it from the Brown side of things. Let's talk about Baker Mayfield and the Panthers, because that's where we're going for. I think it's a great fit for him personally. Another situation to Jimmy G, he's a free agent after this year. Okay. As far as the Panthers go, I think it's great because we have seen flashes. We've seen Baker Mayfield take a team not as far as they should have gone, but help turn a he helped turn a franchise around. I mean, There's no denying that.
He was a part of the turnaround.
And it's a great spot for him. Maybe he finds a long-term home if he plays well, or another play a year, show me what you got. Maybe he can go somewhere else next year and get a decent contract.
Yeah. I mean, for Baker himself, I think it's going to be a little bit of a culture shock for him. He's going from a team where he had one of the top 3 offensive line every year since he started in this league. He's had very talented receivers, if not on both sides, at least at one position every single year. Great tight end help, 2 running backs that are could have at some point been arguably the top 10 in the league, both. And now he's going to the Carolina Panthers, where they've had and going to have a bottom 24 offensive line. They've got DJ Moore, and that's about it. Christian McCaffrey will be there for about 4 or 5 games maybe this year.
Whoa. Don't speak bad about Terrace Marshall.
Oh, Terrace Marshall can stay there. I mean, Robbie Anderson's there.
Yeah, Robbie Anderson is there.
Robbie Anderson said he's not catching any balls from Baker Mayfield. He's only playing if Sam Darnold plays. He's standing outside the locker room, the coach's office, with a picket board right now. He's saying no. He's hyping his man up. He goes, no, Sam Darnold is my quarterback. It's like Des Bryant and Tony Romo.
No, that is no. It's like Sam Darnold is Robbie Anderson's herpes. Okay, it just shows up. You know, he got it in New York. All right, the Jets. He went away, got away from that team, and it just reappeared. You know, reappears every once in a while
because they think they have a connection. But we're not going to dwell on that one. But no, I think it's going to be really interesting. You could argue that Sam Darnold's never had a situation that for a week that Baker Mayfield's had. He's never been in a situation where he's had good coaching, good offense, good defense, special teams. He's never been on a good team. And then his first chance that they had last season, when Christian McCaffrey was healthy, the Panthers were 5-0 at one point last year.
Yeah,
we got to remember they actually were playing pretty well, and Sam Darnold was getting pretty hyped at one point.
Yes,
he has been riddled with injuries. He hasn't played a full season since he started in the league, and that's one of the things that everyone was knocking him on when he first came in. I don't think Sam Darnold's a generational quarterback. He's not going to be a superstar. He's likely never going to win a Super Bowl as a starter. And
I don't think he's a starter in this league ever again.
Unless
he beats out Baker, which I don't see happening. But
I think there's a world it happens, and I would love to see it.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Doctor Strange movie?
I have.
Okay, yeah. There is definitely a multiverse where Sam Darnold. There's infinite multiverses, right? Well, there's only one where Sam Darnold is actually the starter here, in my opinion.
We'll have to see. We could see the Seattle Seahawks trade for Sam Darnold, even though they are so content for some reason on Geno Smith and Drew Lock this year.
No, Sam Darnold staying put. He's the backup. It just is what it is. You don't trade for a quarterback, especially like Baker Mayfield, who I'm not saying he's, next coming or anything like that, but you don't trade for somebody with all of the media attention around him on top of he's had good play, barring last year. And that's, you can blame that on injury. You can blame that on whatever you want. You don't bring in a quarterback like that unless he's going to be the starter. Now, if you brought in somebody, for instance, let's say if they traded for Drew Lock, let's say Drew Lock came in and it was a true camp battle. At that point, I would understand. I could see, Sam Darnold and Drew Lock, they've, shown flashes and whatnot, but neither have really cemented themselves as a true NFL starter or shown that they can really be that. So at that point, I could see. But Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, is an NFL starter.
I think he has a chance to be. This is his chance to prove it. But I think you could argue that he's been in a situation that no one could fail in.
True. He was in a great position, especially as a younger guy coming into the league, great running backs, great system. But at the same time, you can also argue the fact that he didn't really have great receivers up until mid 2020 or 2020, 2021. I mean, Jarvis Landry was the only guy there. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Jarvis, but he is not a top tier receiver.
No, he didn't have the most help, but he did have the strongest dual threat running back group in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, one of the best running offensive lines that opens up your receivers especially when you're halfway decent. I don't think Baker's a bad quarterback. I don't think there's 31 other quarterbacks in the league right now that are better than him. I think he deserves a starting role, but I think him and Sam Darnold are right on the cusp. I mean, the only thing that you can say that Sam Darnold's done worse is throw less touchdowns in less games while being pretty close in interceptions.
But I mean, also yardage too. I mean,
less games.
Complete. Like if you look at their stats, for instance, career wise, Baker 7.3 yards per attempt compared to Sam Darnold 6.5. Their completion percentage is pretty similar. Baker at 61.6, Sam Darnold at 59. But I do think that, in my eyes, from what I've seen, I think Baker is like clear and above a better quarterback. Now, I also think, and it may be crazy, I think it is a little crazy, I think, to say this, maybe, potentially.
Oh, don't stop. If you're about to say that they're going to win their division.
No.
Thank gosh.
No,
okay.
No, God, no.
Okay.
No. Not that.
You said it was crazy. I didn't know.
I think, and it sounds weird, I think Baker Mayfield is going into a better position now than when he was in Cleveland. And just listen to me.
I'm leaning forward. This is interesting.
Because you have DJ Moore. You have Robbie Anderson. You have Terrace Marshall, who's shown flashes. You have Christian McCaffrey, arguably the best running back when healthy. Okay. Now, if they can all stay healthy, obviously, offensive line takes a downgrade. However, weapons around him, I think
big downgrade.
This is the best fit or the best option for him. He can dump the ball off to Christian McCaffrey whenever he wants to, or he can get the ball to DJ Moore or Robbie Anderson. Or I do think we see Terrace Marshall, take not a ginormous step or anything like that, but I think we see Terrace Marshall became a solid wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 for the team. So I think we'll see a little bit more steady play as long as Christian McCaffrey stays healthy. So it's hard to say. Obviously, the defense isn't the same.
Which
obviously
is a huge part of it.
They're going to be on the. But I'm saying offensively wise, weapons wise, this is a better situation for Baker.
So you're saying Robbie Anderson's better than Jarvis Landry?
No.
Okay. Is Terrace Marshall better than Jarvis Landry?
No.
Okay. So obviously we would both agree that DJ Moore is a much better receiver than OBJ, or a better receiver than OBJ?
Yes. And compared to when OBJ was in Cleveland, and obviously he wasn't on the field a ton, but when he wasn't making those impact throws or those impact catches and stuff like that. And you can argue it was Baker, it was this, it was that. But I mean,
you can watch the video that Dad posted. He laid it out pretty clearly. His son was open.
It was like 7 throws.
It was only from like 5-6 games out of that season.
Because that's all he played.
Because that's
all
that matters.
They can't get a connection.
No, they don't. They can't.
I don't know. I think it could be a better fit. I do. Like as far as weapons wise.
Segueing into the fantasy, I think it's a better fit for him in fantasy, and I think that he's someone that is kind of a dark horse QB1 this year at this point.
Wow.
I wouldn't doubt it. Like you're saying, they're on in my opinion, a much worse and less competitive team than what he was on in the Browns. He's been in situations where they're leading games in the Browns multiple times, have a huge reliance on the run game. Even though they let him throw the ball, he takes his shots. I do think that he's going to be in more come from behind games and playing in a much softer division where he's going to have games that he should be able to dominate. He's not playing the Steelers and the Ravens twice a year and the Bengals twice a year.
Right.
He's going to be playing the Falcons twice this year. The Saints, which good team, and the Bucks, which are a good team. I'd argue they're as good as the Bengals and the Ravens and the Steelers the past couple years. So, I mean, I think that Baker is a much better fit for fantasy this year and good late round QB right now. I don't know what his ADP shot up to and what it's sitting at.
Right now, as we speak, it's 206.8. It's definitely shooting up. Quarterback 29.
I'd take him at quarterback 20.
I would take him. I'd take him at quarterback 20. 21, I would say. I'd take Matt Ryan ahead of him. Just because I know what I'm getting from Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Consistency wise. But I do think that he is a great late round grab. Would you take him or Jared Goff? Because
I take him. I take him. I think that the fact that we've seen his touchdown upside, especially in seasons where he hasn't had Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods the past 2 years, like Jared Goff had when he was in LA and throwing up huge quarterback numbers in fantasy.
Right.
So I think that I would much rather have Baker. Give me that arm. You get Christian McCaffrey, who's a receiver, quarterback friendly running back. It's not Nick Chubb, 200 plus carries a year.
Yeah. You're gonna get a lot of catches from CMC for sure. So yeah, I think I would probably lean. I've been getting on the Jared Goff train a little bit lately. But I do think
it's a rough one.
I do think I would take Baker though over him. So yeah, I'm sitting there, around that 20 spot as well, with you. But let's see, what does it do for the wide receivers? Obviously, and I don't think we really have to talk, in my opinion, unless you want to talk about it. I don't think we need to talk about Christian McCaffrey that much. I mean, we can touch on him. I mean, he's quarterback proof.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't really, in my opinion, it doesn't affect Christian McCaffrey at all. Actually, if anything, I think it might hurt him very, very slightly.
Oh, you think it'll hurt him?
Yeah, just because I think Baker's going to be taking bigger shots downfield, more slightly, 3-5 times a game adds up, especially over a 17-game season. And if he hits a few of those, that's just less yardage and opportunity for other players.
Yeah. Are you okay? So real quick then, and then we'll move on. Right now, he is going off the board at running back 2. Are you comfortable with him there?
Running back 2?
Mm-hmm.
Dang, he's been jumping.
Yeah.
Last I looked, he was like running back 8, and I was saying it, but running back 2, no.
No.
Give me someone else. I'm gonna have to think about it, but I don't have the ADPs in front of me. But man,
it's getting, and maybe it's just because we're getting closer and closer and closer to draft season and NFL. I think that getting a little hype. When a running back averages 25 points a game,
it's hard to say no.
It's hard to say no, but
hard to say no.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm at the second pick, I'm probably taking him. I'm gonna be honest. It sucks because the injury is what scared me the most. But all right, let's move on to the wide receivers. Wide receivers: DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall, even, and we can even talk about the tight end, Tommy Tremble, maybe. What do you think? Let's start with the receivers. What do you think this does to the receivers?
All right, now realistically, so what I really think this happens is, and I said this to one of my friends the other day. I mentioned that I think Baker Mayfield could be a dark horse for a QB1. I think DJ Moore could be a dark horse, very dark horse, for the wide receiver 1 this year. The wide receiver 1.
Wow, hot take. All right.
You've seen a guy, like we've said, we've seen a guy that's been able to capitalize on, I believe it's 1,150-yard seasons while not eclipsing either 4 or 6 touchdowns a season. Okay, I probably should have pulled up his stats before I was ready to go on this rant, but I wasn't ready to go on this
1,100.
rant.
Yeah, he's never eclipsed more than 4 touchdowns in a season. Has hit just under 1,200 3 times, 1,200 yards.
There we go. So now I do think that we see an opportunity for him to take that step to eclipse that 1,400-yard season while also getting 7 or 8 touchdowns. That would get him locked into a wide receiver 1 on the year. Now, if he really blows up and goes off and gets 12 touchdowns on the years and he gets 1,500 yards, boom.
Yeah.
You're talking wide receiver 1 on the year unless we have another Cooper Kupp this year, which I doubt. So I will take my dark horse. The guy is excessively talented, and he has had so many touchdowns sniped by the running backs and the lack of competent quarterbacks back there. And not that I think Baker is, and we've talked about it already, I don't think Baker is this insanely great quarterback, but I trust him more when it comes to getting players in the end zone.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, give me DJ Moore all day. I will take him as a wide receiver 1 if I go running back heavy, unless he starts shooting up even farther.
Yeah, right now
I have to wait for everything to stop rocketing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have to kind of wait till the dust settles. But right now, he's at ADP of 37, wide receiver 17 off the board.
All day.
Yeah, I'll take that for sure. I liked him. I believe he was at wide receiver 21 before this, which is where Jerry Jeudy is going. I was still on that. He's shown.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's finished as a wide receiver too. Every year except for his rookie year. So yeah, I love DJ Moore. I think this gives DJ Moore more stability and, like you said, touchdown upside. So yeah, at wide receiver 17, in the 4th round, beginning of the 4th, end of the 3rd, I'm taking that all day. Love that. Robbie Anderson, how do you feel about that? I mean, really,
staying away, not interested.
Even though he's going at wide receiver 79 right now.
Not interested. I'll if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll live with myself then. Actually, I don't want it.
He's wide receiver 72. I mean, I don't think there's any upside there.
Exactly.
And when I'm picking those guys, for instance, Paris Campbell going off at 74, baby, I'll take that all day. I'd rather have Paris Campbell than Robbie Anderson. So yeah, he's not somebody I'm targeting at all. I think we see another mediocre year. I mean, it'd be a return, but wide receiver 45, something like that. But somebody's going to have a couple, double-digit games and then put up 0. So not somebody I really want on my roster. And are you interested in Terrace Marshall at all? Are you interested in him?
What's his ADP at the moment?
He is. Well, he's way down there.
Yeah, I'll take a flyer on him. That's fine. If he's way down there and he's floating around the undrafted free agents, the waivers.
Yeah, he's undrafted.
I'll take him as a last round pick sometimes.
Yeah, every once in a while, just to have a share.
You gotta, if you're playing a bunch of leagues, you gotta have your hands in a bunch of different cookie jars. Now,
if this is your big money league that you're playing for, okay, all right, there we go.
Probably not. There's I don't have anyone off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's a few other people that would be there on that last pick that might have some more upside.
John Mechie.
Probably.
Let's see. Nico Collins. That was from the same team. Wow, that was weird.
That's really interesting.
Donovan Peoples-Jones. I would, only because he's the wide receiver 2 on his team.
When am I drafting? Am I drafting now or in 3 weeks?
Right now.
I was drafting right now. I'm taking Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah. So, Cedric Wilson. Here's a good one.
No.
Velus Jones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, he's actually way down there. He's 98 right now. So
yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah. So, and then do we need to talk about Tommy Tremble? I mean, I'm not really interested unless you're in a super deep league, deep benches. He did show some flashes here and there. Only caught 1 touchdown. Obviously bad quarterback play, factors into that. But we've never really seen a Panther. I like Tommy Tremble, the talent. I just don't know if this Panthers system is conducive to that. I think if you take a flyer on him, you need like a 2 tight end league or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in him. There's some other options.
Yeah. So Baker Mayfield though, quarterback 1.
Awesome.
What do you think? What's your prediction? Where will he finish? Like prediction, not high end, not low end. What's where would you comfortably say?
Like I said, I'd take him at quarterback 20. So I'd give him a range of I think he's going to be that mid-tier quarterback 2.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be in a similar situation. Good for fantasy, high yardage, high touchdowns, solid interceptions, not a lot of wins.
Yeah. Sweet. All right. Well, that is Baker Mayfield. There we go. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you later.